I grew up in a home on the family farm a mile northwest of Cromwell, and had great parents, and my dad was a farmer, and I had an older brother, Sanford, and he helped farm, and then I had an older sister, Harriet, and an older sister, Ellie. I went to West Noble schools. When I went to kindergarten, I went to Cromwell, and they had a mobile home in the parking lot of where the Cromwell Community Center is, and I went to kindergarten there, and that was one of my most impressive years. I would say of my school career, I remember vividly many of the great things we did, and I remember older kids from the Cromwell School walking down to the kindergarten mobile home and bringing chocolate milk, and we just went half days, and I had not seen chocolate milk in little cartons, and that just impressed me greatly, and I remember looking forward to that every day, saying, we get chocolate milk, what a great country. So then I went to elementary school. In those days we were bused. We took a bus from our house to Cromwell, and then we were bused to Kimmel, and there was an elementary school there, and I went to grade 1, 2, 3. And in third grade, my teacher was also the principal, and that was Mary Stanglin. And I remember sometimes she would appoint one of the kids in our class to be in charge of the class while she went to answer the phone. There was no secretary. Or if she had to go and discipline someone. Anyway, so that was an entertaining time. Then 4th, 5th, 6th grade, I went to Cromwell, back to the building that long ago was the high school. But I went 4th, 5th, 6th. Then 7th and 8th grade, I came to the building that used to be Ligonier High School, which is on the grounds where we are right now, and then went to West Noble for high school, the current high school, and so that's where I went. I went to Goshen College. My major was going to be nursing. When I was like a freshman in high school, my mother told me that's what I was going to be, which seems funny, but we had animals on our home place, and I think she saw how I would tend to the animals. We had a lot of cats and dogs that got hit on the road, and I would do first aid and sit up with them all night and be there when they had babies, so I think she saw some interest in me. So I did study nursing at Goshen College and had such a great experience there. And even now here in my office at West Noble Primary, I mentor Goshen College nursing students. So I get one a week, and I'm their community service rotation, and so that's great fun to connect with the professors and those students and carry on the tradition of Goshen College. I have been at West Noble Primary for 16 years. That is a very long time. One of those years I worked half of the time at the primary and half of the time at the high school as a nurse. That was thought to be possible, and at Christmas time I said that is not possible, and so I quit that job. But I have enjoyed the journey, and I would just say so much great experience working with people, working with kids, getting better nursing skills, getting better compassion skills. So the experience has been great. Sometimes it's really hard work. Many jobs could say that. And at other times I enjoy the fun that we have at the primary school. Mr. Shepard makes a lot of things fun. And even today we celebrated Chip Day, where we all ate a chip together at the same moment, and he said we were setting a world record. And so things like that make all of us have fun and just be silly and laugh. And then the journey has been so good. Just working with other people is always, that's a whole job in itself, learning effective ways to work with people, whether it's parents or just your coworkers or getting kids to do what you want them to do. And so a lot of skills. It's a continuous thing to learn. You know, what's the best way, and then there's new methods for like managing asthma or managing diabetes. So there's a lot of learning along the way for nurses and other staff too, but it's been good. West Noble is a great place to work. I think the leadership is a prime reason. Mr. Mass does a great job as a leader, and he's real approachable. I appreciate that. Mr. Shepard does a great job here at the primary, and one of the quotes he taught us years past was that he didn't want anyone to say, "That's not my job." There are days that each of us gets asked to do things that really are not in our job description, but we have to help each other sometimes. It may be watching a class while a teacher has to do something. It may be helping with dismissal. It may be cleaning up something because the custodian's busy, and I in my office often have people that come and help me. Like a bunch of kids get hurt at recess or a bunch get wet. Maybe a month ago I had a whole truckload of first graders that got wet outside, and they all had everything wet and had to be changed, and it was more than I could do real quickly, and so many people come and help me, and so I appreciate that. And especially if we have an emergency situation, many people come and help, and I appreciate that. And you have to work together as a team to be successful, so that is great. I have been married to my husband, Rob, for 30 years. We met when I lived in Indianapolis. After college, I moved there, and we lived there for several years. And then we bought land at the end of my parents' farm and built a house there. And then after my father died, we bought some of the family farm, and now I live in my parents' home. So we live on the home place. We've been married 30 years, and that's been a tremendous experience. And we have enjoyed camping, and so hopefully you'll see a picture of our camper. And we have two girls. Joanna's the oldest, and she got married last summer, and that was a big to-do. She got married at our house, and we were so glad to get that accomplished, and basically a successful event, and she said it was the happiest day of her life, and so we were thrilled with that. And our youngest daughter, Olivia, lives in Texas and teaches 8th grade English at a public school, and she enjoys traveling too, and so she will often send me pictures or texts about where she is she likes to take a lot of different vacations, and so that is our family. I wanted to just share some advice for anyone that I learned from my own experience. So years ago when I worked in Indianapolis at a big hospital, I was an assistant unit manager, and I went to classes once a week with other unit managers in the hospital to learn skills that you need as a manager, including how to help your team work together, how to make out schedules, how to discipline, a lot of those things. But the teamwork business really stuck with me, and one of my stories that I'll share is for a period of time I worked on a med-surg floor in a hospital, and I took turns being in charge, but there were several of us that could do that, and I worked there, I forget, let's say 8 years, I think. And the ladies and gentlemen that I worked with, we learned to help each other, and we were a great team. As you know, we're still human, but we worked together, we would help each other. When you're a nurse on a hospital floor, there are call lights to answer, sometimes there's treatments that you need 2 people to do, sometimes you need a person to help you put somebody on a cart to go to x-ray, or you need help, I can't get the phone, or whatever. And so you have to help each other, and we did well, and I thought we were very efficient for a team. And then I got burned out being a manager, and I went into a job in the same hospital but in their outpatient clinic and had a great experience there. And then in the meantime got married, and then years later had a baby, and so then I worked weekend shifts. So I came back to the very same floor, and now I was just with a weekend team, so it was the same people every weekend. And my first night there, I could not believe it. So the staff had turned over, so these were all new faces. But the first night that I worked, this group of staff, they each went and did all of their own things. They did not help each other. If there was a call bell going off, if it wasn't their patient, they didn't answer it. You know, there was none of that. And they were all younger people. I'll say maybe they were new and inexperienced. But I said, hey guys, I called them all together and said, we can't do that. Anyway, so we got together. We talked about it, and I think food is such a wonderful reward. I planned pitch-ins, we would have carry-ins where we'd sit and just visit. Anyway, it took maybe 6 months before that group of people learned that we have to be friends, we have to help each other to be the most efficient. And that really has stuck with me, and I know that's so important whether we're talking about a family or a school or wherever you work. You got to have teamwork, you got to help each other just for your own mental health. You don't burn out as quickly, you feel understood, and the job gets done better and more efficiently. So that's one of my pieces of advice. Teamwork is so important. And then my other phrase, my quote that I love that wasn't mine, but you have to learn to be healthy. So we're teaching children about drinking water water, eating your vegetables, eating raw fruits and vegetables. So whatever it takes. You need sleep at night, go to bed when your parents tell you. So all these things about being healthy you learn. But then also you have to be healthy so that you can learn. So when kids come to school, if they haven't had breakfast, or I have my little 4 lists that I go through for every child. Did you use the restroom? Did you brush your teeth, brush your hair? Did you eat something? And then now I've added to that, do you have a water bottle with you? So those are all tips that I try to teach them, because you can't learn when your tummy's hungry or you're half asleep or something hurts and whatever. So it goes both ways. You have to be healthy so you can learn, but you have to learn what it takes to be healthy, and hopefully kids here at the primary are learning that from me.